Connor Stalions says he never scouted in person for Michigan during SpyGate. My reaction to Stalions' tell-all conversation with Netflix for their Untold documentary titled Sign Stealer is next. Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked on Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked on Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, coming up on 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer. And I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. So, Connor Stalions speaks. Haven't heard from him in a while. Plus, Rutgers, Minnesota, Illinois all have games tomorrow. Did you know that? And our final preseason Big Ten football power rankings by us. We do these things on Wednesday. We'll compare notes at the end of the year. We'll see how accurate we were here. But first, everybody's talking about Netflix. They dropped their Untold series, Sign Stealer, about Connor Stalions and SpyGate. Dropped it on Tuesday. And for the first time, he addresses the allegations toward him surrounding the Michigan football sign stealing scandal from 2023. He talks about his involvement and or lack thereof and describes in detail what he really did behind the scenes in Ann Arbor. This is the first time he has spoken publicly since a brief statement when he resigned and when he said at the time in the fall of 2023 that he acted alone and firmly stated that Jim Harbaugh knew nothing about SpyGate. Is he sticking to that story now? More on that in a moment. Quick background, though. Stalions is from the state of Michigan. He graduated from Lake Orion High School in 2013. Both his parents are Michigan alumni, and he loves the University of Michigan. He graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy, and he's a retired captain from the U.S. Marine Corps. He wanted to be a football coach, and a lot of the football coaches that he admired had military backgrounds back in the day. So that's what he wanted to do. And his goal has always been to eventually be the head coach of Michigan football. Now, he mentioned that to the head coach at Navy while he was in the military and asked if there's any way he could help out with the football team. And he was immediately put to work. And he immediately put his military training to use and began stealing signs of Navy football opponents, legally, sitting there on the sidelines, trying to figure it out. Later, he began volunteering at Michigan. And in 2022, Jim Harbaugh officially hired him on staff. By October of 2023, news broke about an alleged sign stealing operation where recordings were supposedly made at games on site at stadiums of future Michigan opponents. Such an action would be against an old NCAA rule put in place in the 1990s. It's still against the rules today. Records show that Stallions purchased tickets to 35 football games at 17 stadiums over 3 years. 12 of the 13 fellow Big Ten schools, this is before they expanded to 18 schools, all confirmed that he bought tickets to their games using his name. Wasn't too hard to find those records. The NCAA has been investigating this matter and issued a notice of allegations to Michigan just a few days ago. The notice stated a couple of things: that now head coach Sharon Moore deleted a chain of 52 messages between him and Stalions last October when SpyGate and the story broke. Those messages have been recovered, and Moore gave them to the NCAA, and he recently said that he can't wait for those messages to be made public. If Moore gets in trouble from this investigation, he could be labeled a multi-repeat offender of NCAA rules. As you may recall, when Jim Harbaugh was suspended and sat out the first 3 games, his first suspension of the season last season, sat out for 3 games for Burgergate. Moore was also suspended 1 game in all that as well. So SpyGate could be a second violation. None of that was covered in the Netflix documentary, however. So that's for us to kind of watch that story develop as this moves forward. The notice also says that the NCAA believes Stallions was indeed the mystery member on the Central Michigan sideline, disguised in Central Michigan coaching attire at Spartan Stadium last year for Michigan State's season opener. Stallions likely would have known Central Michigan head coach Jim McElwain, as he was a wide receiver coach for Jim Harbaugh at Michigan for 1 year in 2018 when Stallions was a volunteer. If that was Stallions, what was he doing there? Nobody knows. Netflix handed Stallions a photo of the Central Michigan sideline with a guy that looked like him that everybody has been talking about on social media for months, saying that was him, wearing sunglasses at night, wearing coaching attire on the sideline. Stallions took the picture from the Netflix people, held it up to the camera, shook his head, says, "It doesn't even look like me." That was his answer. Doesn't look like me. Didn't say I wasn't there. Didn't say, yeah, that is me. Says, it doesn't even look like me. Stallion said other things as well. He said he never scouted a game in person. He said he learned signals from TV video and intel from other sources. That, it should be noted, is perfectly legal by NCAA rules. And he created an elaborate game board of thousands of signs and signals, and he had the ability to memorize them all and then relay them to coaches, to Michigan coaches, and under pressure in-game situations quickly. Had a skill there. He said that he had friends who used all these tickets that we mentioned he bought to all these stadiums. And yes, occasionally they would send video of other teams to him, trying to help out the cause, if it were. But Stallion says he didn't use the video because he already knew the signs from the other team. He said he was polite about it, like when your aunt gives you a Christmas gift of something you already have. And you said, okay, thank you, but you move on. Curiously, the Netflix documentary did not address whether anybody else on the Michigan staff knew about the SpyGate operation, although the NCAA did inquire. And according to the NCAA notice of allegations, they seem to think a half a dozen other Michigan staffers knew what was going on. And maybe Sharon Moore was one of them. Again, this was not mentioned. Regarding legal advice, Stallion's attorney seemed to suggest that Ohio State was behind the leak about SpyGate to the NCAA. There were rumors of such leaks back in 2023, but nothing ever panned out. Stallion's lawyer thinks that Stallion's computer was hacked because there was a chart that he had that was leaked to the media. And he claims that he had never sent that chart to anybody. So it was taken from his computer, according to Stalions and his lawyer. He alluded to a Washington Post writer on this story who went to school with Ohio State coach Ryan Day. Again, nothing became of that. Currently, Stalions recently landed a gig. He is an unpaid defensive coordinator at Detroit's Mumford High School. That is a school, by the way, made famous by Eddie Murphy's Axel Foley and Beverly Hills Cop because underneath the hoodie he was wearing a t-shirt, Mumford High School, back in the day. Meanwhile, former head coach Jim Harbaugh, he's off to Los Angeles to coach the Chargers to the tune of $80 million. And Sharon Moore and athletic director Ward Manuel have just begun a 90-day period in which they have the right to respond to the NCAA notice of allegation. That will take them till mid-November. Season's almost over then. Then the NCAA will have another 60 days to respond to Michigan's response. You following along? That should take us to about mid-January or right around the time of the College Football National Championship. So probably nothing will happen to anybody or Sharon Moore this season because everybody's going to run the table on all the deadlines that are allowed in the bylaws of the NCAA. 2025 remains another story. Michigan opens up the 2024 season Saturday night at the Big House versus Fresno State, 7:30 Eastern on NBC. Nationally televised game, very exciting. Locked On Big Ten will go live on our Locked On Big Ten YouTube channel right here immediately following the game. I guess that'll be around 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have reaction to the game and all of the other Big Ten teams in action that day as well. In the meantime, if you're new or if you're not, if you haven't subscribed, please do. That really helps us out. Man, we've had like over 900 subscribers in the last 30 days. Something's going on over there, and I think everybody's getting excited for Big Ten football. So spread the word too. Subscribe. It's free. It's a click of a button. No information is required. And then we'll ask you to also share a little curved arrow. Go ahead and share this podcast with a friend of yours that you think likes Big Ten football or is a Big Ten alum. So subscribe and share and follow Locked On Big Ten wherever you get your podcast. That way you get the latest episode of this podcast as soon as it becomes available each and every day. And by the way, while you're on our website, talkbig10 10.com, we have all of our podcasts there chronologically, group by school, and you can get some free shirts, t-shirts, hats. Get ready for the 2024 season. We're talking about Michigan. You want some Michigan hats or shirts? Go to our website and get them right there at talkbig10.com. Would appreciate that. All right. Believe it or not, we have some actual Big Ten football tomorrow. Can you believe it? That's right. Plus, Penn State extends its athletic director and their contract. Things are going well there. That's all coming up next right here on Locked On Big Ten. You want to go to a Big Ten game? Use Game Time. You want to go to anything? Use Game Time. Get your tickets from Game Time. It is great. And they have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes it getting tickets for your favorite events even easier. It filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching for thousands of tickets that are there. You can pick an upcoming event on the app and browse through seats with Game Time Picks. I like the feature that they have where you can see the picture from the view from the seat of the ticket you're about to buy, no matter what it is. Game Time Picks. You can use this for sports, for concerts, for comedy shows, for theater, all-in pricing right there to make everything very convenient. In fact, also coming up on Labor Day, 50% off tickets to Dodgers at Diamondbacks for Labor Day exclusively right here on Game Time. So check it out. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and the redeem code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And FanDuel makes all the sports that we look at so much more fun. Now, you've heard us talking about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5, and then you get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime if you need to, but you can just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sports book. Got Rutgers over 6.5 wins this year. Unders in the O's versus Dodgers tonight. Padres over the Cardinals and the Yankees over the Nationals. My opinion on all that. Visit FanDuel right now. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sports book. Want to thank everybody for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day, especially you everydayers out there. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, if you haven't, subscribe and share. Subscribe and share. That helps us out on YouTube. And you also follow and like Locked On Big Ten wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. Don't forget our website, talkbig10.com. And also, college football is back, obviously. It's not too late to catch up before the season kicks off with all things Big Ten, SEC, ACC, and Big 12. You can get it all from Locked On's stable of college experts by subscribing to Locked On College Football. Got all kinds of podcasts with Locked On. So check it out. The Locked On College Football Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, no need to wait until Saturday for Big Ten football. We have 3 games in action tomorrow night, Thursday night. First of all, Howard is at Rutgers, and that's a 6 o'clock Eastern time on the Big Ten Network. Now, Greg Schiano, we're big fans. Team is coming off a 7-win season last year, including a bowl win over Miami in the Pinstripe Bowl. Ethan Kaliak-Manis transfers in from Minnesota to play quarterback, and this team has 13 starters returning. Running back Kyle Monangai led the Big Ten in rushing with 1,262 yards last year and 8 touchdowns. And again, if you can grab a win total, a veteran team, a favorable schedule, take the over 6.5 wins for Rutgers this season. That's the best tip I can give you right there for FanDuel. Go check it out. North Carolina is at Minnesota. That's an 8 o'clock Eastern game on Fox. Speaking of former Minnesota quarterback Ethan Kaliakmanis, since he left for Rutgers, well, now Minnesota needed a quarterback. PJ Fleck is putting all of his eggs in one basket with his replacement, Max Brosmer, who makes the jump from FCS New Hampshire. See how that goes. He'll have a strong running game to rely on. That's the quarterback's best friend. Running back Darius Taylor is healthy again. We love talking about Taylor. Last year, he played in just 6 games and then he got injured. In 3 of those 6 games, he was the Big Ten Freshman of the Week. This is a good player. Kid out of Detroit. Really runs really hard. Eastern Illinois is in Illinois, 9 o'clock, Big Ten Network. So a late one tomorrow night. By the way, Illinois is a 4-touchdown favorite in this game. They're coming off a disappointing 5-win season. A lot of close nail-biters last year. Head coach Brett Bielema, he really struck me during Big Ten Media Days with his enthusiasm for all the other extra stuff that coaches have to do that's running coaches out of the game, with all the name, image, and likeness and transfer portals and staying on top of recruiting. It's a nonstop job. It wears some coaches out. It burns them out. But at Big Ten Media Days, Bielema said, I'm all about it, man. I'm in. Bring it on. I love it. Good for him. That will serve him well. I also think Illinois quarterback Luke Altmaier is going to turn some heads this year. Transferred in from Ole Miss a couple of years ago and started 9 games for the Fighting Illini last year. And I liked what I saw, and I liked what I saw during spring football as well. A lot of people want to say, that Dylan Gabriel or whatever, that's maybe a down year for quarterback in the Big Ten. Maybe it will be. But I think Luke Altmaier at the end of the day will step up and impress some people. So that's what I think. All things are going pretty well at Penn State this day. Would you agree? I mean, the football team is strong. Now we have expanded playoffs, and they have a really good chance of getting in it. They've got a $700 million renovation going on at Beaver Stadium. Athletic director Pat Kraft has just received a contract extension through June of 2032. They'll pay him an average of $2.26 million a year over the next 8 years. He was entering year 3 of a 5-year deal, but they like him. So let's do more of this. He arrived at Penn State via Boston College in July of 2022. So, he'd barely gotten settled down, and he's getting extensions and raises. Life is good. Penn State opens up the football season on the road at West Virginia. Hey, speaking of athletic directors, or former athletic directors, best wishes to former Wisconsin athletic director and coach Barry Alvarez. So he was shaken up in a car accident on Saturday morning near the football stadium after getting his car washed. The other driver ran a red light, ran into him. He was ticketed, not Alvarez, the other guy. Alvarez is 77 years old. He returned home again, still shaken, and still made a scheduled phone interview right after. That's how we found out all this information. Obviously, he wanted to talk about it. Gets in a car wreck, finishes driving home, and then does the interview. You got to like that. Seems like he'll be okay. And the Badgers open up versus Western Michigan at Camp Randall on Friday night. So we got all this Thursday night football, Friday night football, all day Saturday. Don't forget the USC Trojans and LSU on Sunday. And then there's even nationally televised college football on Monday night this week. It's fantastic. Lots going on. So we're very excited about it. Coming up, speaking of excited, on Wednesdays, we always do our power rankings of something. And then during the season, we power rank the standings, how they think should be in the Big Ten. We'll do our last, we've done a few spot ones over the summertime. We'll do our last preseason power rankings 1 through 18, how we see the Big Ten shaping up. And you remember it. And at the end of the season, we'll come back to it. We'll compare. And we'll see how we did. There's always stories that surprise you and whatnot, but we'll have all that coming up in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. Five-hour energy. It's fantastic. If you need a jolt of energy, 5-hour energy is where it's at. Whether you're driving down a long highway at night, maybe you're tired and sluggish after a big lunch at work and you got to power through some meetings that you don't want to fall asleep in. 5-hour energy. That's where you need to go. give you the energy boost that you need. But take it after work so you have energy to go to the gym afterward. It'll help you stay alert at all of your favorite things that you have to do, or maybe some things that aren't your favorite that you just have to power through. 0 sugar, portable size, 5-hour energy. They got a website, bunch of flavors like watermelon, tropical burst, grape, berry, a whole lot more. You can try them all. In fact, you can create your own 12 or 24 pack when you order, mix and match the flavors. So if you go to 5hourenergy.com, that's the number 5, 5hourenergy.com, and get some 5-hour energy product today. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONCFB, LOCKEDONCFB, and receive $20 off your order. Now that offer is only valid through September 30th. It cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on other subscription orders. You can go to 5hourenergy.com though today and check it out. Again, that's the number 5, 5hourenergy.com. All right, it is time for our power rankings. This is the last one before the season starts. And we'll see. This is how we think it's going to pan out in the Big Ten. I'm going to put it on screen. If you're audio only, I'll describe it in detail. We'll start it out here, and we are going to go with the Ohio State Buckeyes at number 1. They are loaded. They are ready. They are on a mission. And right behind them at number 2, we're going to put the brand new Oregon Ducks. Welcome from the Pac-12. As of right now, if I'm going to be firm, I'm just going to say Ohio State and Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. And they play October 12th at Alton Stadium in the regular season. So maybe a sneak preview. We're going to put Penn State at number 3. And we think the Big Ten gets at least 3 teams in the college football playoff, maybe 4. I think between the Big Ten and the SEC, 7 teams get in. One of them will get 4. One of them will get 3. That's what I think. So Michigan maybe in this play. I think Michigan's going to be better than people think. Got them at 4. Maybe we'll put them at 3. You know, I'm high on Nebraska. Dylan Raiola at quarterback. Big expectations there. And the USC Trojans. We'll get a good idea for what the USC Trojans are, where they can shore up that defense a little bit when they take on LSU. But neither team is really known for defense. That's going to be a track meet. That's going to be a shootout on Sunday. And I got the Iowa Hawkeyes. Kirk Ferentz is going to be sitting out the first game with the suspension, but this team is loaded. Sebastian Castro on defense. See how Cade McNamara does on offense. Tim Lester, the new offensive coordinator, but I think they can use the same formula as last year. Maybe don't score, but don't turn the ball over and let the defense keep you in games and win low-scoring games. Kind of the same thing for Rutgers. Got them right there at number 8. They could be a little higher as well. I keep telling you, take the over in 6.5 wins. They're gonna win 7, 8, could even maybe 9. Favorable schedule. Washington, the big mystery team of the Big Ten. 20 of the 22 starters are going to be replaced from the national championship runner-up team. Got them at number 9, and the Wisconsin Badgers at Luke Fickell. See how Tyler Van Dyke does at quarterback. So that's my top 10 for the Big Ten this year. The best of the rest, Illinois. We just talked about Brett Bielema. They open up tomorrow. Got him at a number 11. Maryland at 12. See what Coach Loxley has at quarterback to replace Talia Tagovailoa at QB, the all-time leading passer in the Big Ten. Kurt Cignetti at Indiana. What's he going to do in his first year? Got him at number 14. Michigan State, Jonathan Smith in his first year. It feels like that's another year to turn things around, maybe. Northwestern, if they come in at 16th, this is going to be a big step backward after their 8-win, improbable 8-win season last year. Or can they duplicate it? It should show me that I'm wrong. UCLA, I do not have a lot of expectations here for this first year in the Big Ten. And Purdue, I think, is really going to struggle this year. Got them at the bottom. Ryan Walters in year 2. Hudson Card, the quarterback in year 2. We'll see. I think they'll have a decent defense, though. So there you have it. 1 through 18, our final power rankings, preseason power rankings before the start on the eve of the Big Ten football season. There you have it. Here from us here at Locked On Big Ten. Hope you enjoyed it. If you disagree or agree, I'd love to hear from you. Many ways for you to reach out to me. You can follow me on X or Twitter at Talk Big Ten number 10. Also comments on YouTube. You guys have been going back and forth, interacting. That actually really helps our podcast get out there, out and about with the interaction. And don't forget our website, talkbig10 number 10.com. All of our podcasts are there, grouped by schools or chronologically, or all the merchandise you need with Big Ten for your favorite teams, hats and shirts and pennants, all that stuff you want. Not too early to start shopping for Christmas either for some friends as well. But get it all right there at talkbig10.com. Always would appreciate that. And hey, why not? Check out another episode of Locked On Big Ten after this one. Again, right on the website there. Also, maybe for a second listen, check out our friends at Locked On College Football with Spencer McLaughlin, getting you ready for the upcoming season. Locked On College Football available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, just like us. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, so the next time we speak, it will be game day. There will be games being played. Can't wait. We'll discuss it and keep our eye on everything else that's going on around the Big Ten and college football. Thanks for checking us out. Don't forget to share us with somebody and subscribe and spread the word. If you have a friend who's a Big Ten fan or alum, tell them we're out here every day working for you guys. It's a blast. Can't wait till we talk to you next time. I'm Craig Sheeman for Locked On Big Ten.